What if everything you thought you knew about the future was about to change in the next 30 days? What if someone had already seen what's coming and tried to warn us, but we weren't listening? Today, we're going to talk about something that will shake you to your core. A woman who sees beyond the veil of time has spoken. Her name echoes through the corridors of prophecy, Mhoni Vidente, and what she saw about December 2025 and Donald Trump will leave you speechless. Before we begin, I need you to understand something. This isn't just another prediction. This isn't some random fortune teller making wild guesses. Mhoni has been right before, disturbingly right. She predicted events that seemed impossible until they happened. Natural disasters, political upheaval, the fall of leaders, the rise of chaos. And now, she's looking at December 2025 with eyes that have seen too much. Eyes that are filled with both warning and dread. December 2025. Mark this month in your memory. According to Mhoni Vidente, this is when everything changes. This is when the cards fall. This is when destiny catches up with one of the most controversial figures in modern history, Donald Trump, the 45th president, the man who divided a nation, the man who promised to make America great again. But what Mhoni sees in his future is not greatness. It's something far more complex, far more dangerous, and it involves all of us, whether we realize it or not. Let me take you back for a moment. Mhoni Vidente isn't new to this. She's been reading the tarot, consulting the stars, and receiving visions for decades. Born in Cuba, raised in the mystical traditions of Santeria and esoteric knowledge, she has become one of the most recognized psychics in Latin America. Millions follow her predictions. Millions hang on her every word. And when she speaks about world leaders, when she shuffles those ancient cards and lays them out on the table, people listen, because she's been right too many times to ignore. She predicted turmoil in Venezuela before it spiraled into chaos. She saw the pandemic shadows before the world shut down. She warned about earthquakes, floods, and the collapse of governments. Some say she's blessed with a gift. Others say she's cursed with knowledge. But one thing is certain. When Mhoni Vidente speaks about December 2025 and Donald Trump, you need to pay attention. Because what's coming isn't just politics. It's fate. Let's talk about what she saw. In her most recent readings, Mhoni pulled cards that filled her with unease. The Tower, Death, the Devil. These aren't cards you want to see when asking about someone's future. These are cards of destruction, transformation, and hidden forces. The Tower represents sudden upheaval, structures crumbling, foundations shaking. Death doesn't always mean physical death, but it means the end of something significant. A chapter closing, a transformation so complete that nothing remains the same. And the Devil, that card speaks of bondage, of secrets, of forces beyond control, pulling strings in the darkness. When these cards appeared in relation to Donald Trump and December 2025, Mhoni's face went pale. She describes feeling a wave of energy, cold and electric, running through her body. The spirits were speaking. The universe was sending a message. And that message was clear. December 2025 will be a month of reckoning for Trump, a month where hidden truths surface, where decisions made in the shadows come into the light, where power shifts in ways no one expects. But what does this mean exactly? Mhoni speaks of legal troubles intensifying, court cases that have been brewing, accusations that have been whispered, evidence that has been hidden, all coming together in a perfect storm during December. She sees Trump facing his most challenging moment yet. Not on the campaign trail, not in a debate, but in a courtroom, under oath, with the world watching. She describes seeing him surrounded by lawyers, papers scattered, faces grim, the weight of justice pressing down like a mountain. And it's not just legal troubles. Mhoni sees something else, something more personal, a betrayal, someone close to Trump, someone he trusted, turning against him. The cards showed her a figure in the shadows, someone who has been loyal until now, deciding to speak, to reveal secrets, to break the code of silence. This betrayal will cut deep. It will be unexpected, and it will change everything. Who is this person? Mhoni couldn't see the face clearly, but she felt the energy. Cold, calculated, someone who has been waiting for the right moment. December 2025 also brings something else according to Mhoni's visions. A health scare, not necessarily life-threatening, but significant enough to raise alarms. She described seeing Trump holding his chest, looking pale, surrounded by medical professionals. Stress takes a toll. The human body can only endure so much pressure before it starts to break. The relentless attacks, the legal battles, the constant scrutiny, all of it compounds. And in December, according to Mhoni, the body sends a warning, a sign that something needs to change, that the pace cannot continue. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Mhoni doesn't just see Trump's personal struggles. She sees ripples, consequences that spread across America. She describes visions of protests, large crowds gathering in major cities, anger, division, people taking to the streets, some supporting Trump, some opposing him, the nation splitting even further apart. December 2025 becomes a flashpoint, a moment where the tension that has been building for years reaches a boiling point, and in the middle of it all stands one man, facing his destiny. Now, you might be asking yourself, can this really be true? Can someone actually see the future like this? I understand your skepticism. We live in a world that values logic, science, proof, but throughout history, there have been seers, prophets, people who somehow knew things before they happened. Nostradamus predicted events centuries in advance. Edgar Cayce saw the future in his sleep. Joan of Arc heard voices that told her what was coming. Were they all delusional? Or is there something beyond our understanding? Something that allows certain individuals to glimpse what's ahead? Mhoni Vidente has built her reputation on accuracy. Not perfection, but enough correct predictions to make people take notice. She predicted the outcome of elections when polls said otherwise. She warned about natural disasters days before they struck. She saw political scandals unfolding before the first headline appeared. Her track record speaks for itself. And when someone with that track record looks at December 2025 and sees darkness, you have to wonder, what if she's right? What if what she's seeing is already in motion, already inevitable, already written in the stars? Let's talk about the bigger picture here. This isn't just about one man. This is about America at a crossroads. Mhoni sees December 2025 as a pivotal moment in American history, a month where decisions made now will echo for decades. She describes seeing two paths, one leading to healing, to unity, to a nation finding its way back to common ground, the other leading to deeper division, to chaos, to a country that can no longer recognize itself. And Donald Trump, whether we like it or not, stands at the center of which path is chosen. The economic implications are massive, according to Mhoni's visions. She sees turbulence in the markets during December, uncertainty causing investors to panic, stock prices fluctuating wildly, the dollar under pressure, international relations strained. She describes seeing graphs with red arrows pointing down, traders with worried faces, emergency meetings in boardrooms, the economy, already fragile, reacting to political instability. And it all connects back to Trump. His legal troubles, his health concerns, his battles with opponents, all of it creating uncertainty, and markets hate uncertainty. But there's more. Mhoni speaks of international reactions, foreign leaders watching America with concern, allies questioning their relationships, adversaries seeing opportunity. She describes visions of late-night phone calls between world capitals, emergency sessions at the United Nations, diplomats scrambling to understand what's happening in Washington. Because when America is unstable, the whole world feels it. When the most powerful nation on earth is distracted by internal conflict, power vacuums appear. And history has shown us what happens when power vacuums appear. They get filled, often by forces we don't want filling them. December 2025, according to Mhoni, is also connected to something cosmic. She speaks of planetary alignments that haven't occurred in decades. Saturn and Pluto in positions that historically correlate with the fall of empires, the end of eras, massive transformations. She describes how the universe itself seems to be orchestrating this moment, as if the stars have been waiting, patiently, for this exact time to deliver their judgment. Ancient astrologers would have recognized these signs. They would have warned their kings and queens. They would have said that December 2025 is a month of fate, not choice. And what about Trump himself? How does he react to all of this? According to Mhoni's visions, she sees defiance. She sees a man who refuses to bow, who refuses to admit defeat, who fights until the very end. The cards show her a warrior stance, fists clenched, jaw set. Trump doesn't go quietly into any night. He rages, he battles, he uses every tool at his disposal. But Mhoni also sees exhaustion. She sees moments when the mask slips, when the bravado fades, when the weight becomes almost too much to bear. These are private moments, moments the public doesn't see, moments of doubt, of fear, of wondering if it was all worth it. The family dynamics are crucial here too. Mhoni describes seeing tension within the Trump family during December 2025, disagreements about how to handle the situation, some family members wanting to fight harder, others suggesting compromise. She sees Melania distant, withdrawn, protective of her own space. She sees the children divided, some standing firm with their father, others quietly distancing themselves. The family unit, which has always presented a unified front, showing cracks. The pressure of December revealing what was always beneath the surface. And then there's the spiritual dimension. Mhoni isn't just reading cards. She's communicating with energies, with spirits, with forces beyond our physical world. And these forces are telling her that December 2025 is a month of karmic balance. Everything Trump has done, every decision he's made, every action he's taken, comes due. Karma doesn't judge, it simply balances. And according to Mhoni, December is when the scales tip. When what was given comes back, when debts are paid. This isn't punishment, it's the universe maintaining equilibrium. What goes up must come down, what is taken must be returned. And December 2025 is collection day. Now, let me ask you something. Do you feel it? Do you sense that something is different about December 2025? Even if you don't believe in psychics or prophecies, can you feel the tension building? The way events seem to be accelerating towards some inevitable point. History has these moments, these convergence points where everything that came before leads to a single instant, and those who are sensitive to these patterns, people like Mhoni, can feel them approaching like a storm on the horizon. Think about the timeline. Think about how we got here. Years of political warfare, years of accusations and investigations, years of rallies and resistance, years of hope and hate intertwined, all of it building, all of it accumulating. And according to Mhoni Vidente, December 2025 is when it all comes to a head, when the story reaches its climax, when the protagonist faces his ultimate test, and we're all witnesses. We're all part of this unfolding drama whether we want to be or not. Mhoni also speaks of a document, something that will surface in December, papers that have been hidden, information that has been suppressed. She describes seeing folders marked classified, hands trembling as they open them, eyes widening as they read. This document, whatever it contains, becomes a game changer. It shifts the narrative. It provides answers to questions that have been asked for years, and it directly involves Trump. The exact nature of this document remains unclear in her visions, but its impact is unmistakable. When it comes to light, nothing is the same. The media frenzy during December 2025 will be unprecedented according to Mhoni. She sees 24-hour coverage, breaking news alerts, analysts arguing on television, social media exploding with reactions. Everyone has an opinion, everyone has a side. The noise becomes deafening, and in the center of this hurricane of information and misinformation stands Trump, sometimes speaking, sometimes silent, but always present, always the focus, the main character in a story that has captivated the world. But here's something Mhoni emphasizes. This isn't just about Trump winning or losing. This isn't about politics in the traditional sense. This is about transformation, about the end of one era and the uncertain beginning of another. December 2025 marks a turning point, not just for one man, but for an entire nation. The questions being asked are fundamental. What kind of country do we want to be? What values do we actually hold? How much division can a democracy withstand before it breaks? These aren't easy questions, and December forces us to confront them. Mhoni describes another vision. She sees Trump at night, alone, looking out a window at a city below, the lights stretching to the horizon, and she feels what he feels in that moment. The weight of history, the awareness that he has changed the course of events, the knowledge that his name will be in textbooks, analyzed by scholars, debated by future generations, but also the loneliness, the isolation that comes with being at the center of so much controversy, the price of power, the cost of fame. December 2025 brings all of this into sharp focus. And what about us? What about the people watching this unfold? Mhoni has a message for everyone observing these events. She says that December 2025 is a mirror. What we see happening to Trump reflects something in ourselves, our own struggles with ego, our own battles with truth and consequence, our own need for redemption or vindication. She urges people to look beyond the surface, to understand that this story is ultimately about human nature, about the choices we make, about the prices we pay, about karma and fate and free will all dancing together. The religious dimension cannot be ignored either. Mhoni, with her deep spiritual background, sees December 2025 through a biblical lens. She speaks of modern-day pharaohs facing plagues, of proud kings brought low, of towers of Babel crumbling. The archetypes are ancient, the story is timeless. A powerful leader who thought himself invincible, discovering his mortality. December becomes a month of humbling, of lessons learned the hard way, of pride meeting its inevitable fall. Let's talk about specific dates. Mhoni is careful not to pinpoint exact days, but she mentions certain periods within December 2025 as particularly significant. The first week, she says, brings unexpected news. Something breaks that catches everyone off guard. Mid-December intensifies. Court dates, medical appointments, critical meetings, things happening in rapid succession. And the end of December, as the year closes, brings a sense of finality, of chapters ending, of new realities setting in. The holiday season, usually a time of joy and family, becomes bittersweet. Celebration mixed with anxiety about what comes next. Mhoni also warns about violence. She hopes she's wrong about this, but she sees the potential for things turning ugly in December, not necessarily directed at Trump himself, but violence born from the tensions his situation creates. Protests turning into riots, disagreements escalating into confrontations. She describes seeing flames, broken windows, police in riot gear, the anger that has been simmering, boiling over. She pleads in her readings for calm, for wisdom, for people to remember that violence solves nothing. But she fears that December's energy is too charged, too volatile, too ready to explode. The international implications extend to specific countries according to Mhoni's visions. She sees Russia watching carefully, China calculating its next moves, European leaders in crisis meetings, Mexico bracing for economic impact, Canada preparing for potential refugees if things get bad enough. The interconnected nature of our modern world means that what happens to Trump in December doesn't stay contained in America. It ripples outward. It affects trade agreements, military alliances, immigration policies. Everything is connected. And December 2025 pulls on threads that unravel tapestries worldwide. Now, let me share something Mhoni said that gave me chills. She was asked during a reading whether Trump would face actual imprisonment. She paused, shuffled her cards again, and said that she sees bars, but she's not certain if they're physical bars or metaphorical ones. Bars of limitation, bars of restriction. December 2025 brings confinement of some kind, whether that's literal incarceration or house arrest, or simply the crushing limitations of legal troubles, remains to be seen. But the freedom Trump has always enjoyed, the ability to move and act without restraint, diminishes significantly in December. The technology angle is fascinating too. Mhoni speaks of digital revelations in December. Emails, text messages, recorded conversations, technology that was supposed to be secure proving not to be secure at all. She describes seeing computer screens with damning evidence, digital breadcrumbs that investigators have been following for years finally leading somewhere. And all of this coming together in December. The modern age means that nothing truly disappears. Everything leaves a trace. And in December 2025, those traces become highways leading directly to truth. Let's talk about Trump's base, his loyal supporters. Mhoni sees them in December as well, and she sees them conflicted, some doubling down on their support, becoming even more fervent in their defense, others beginning to question, beginning to wonder if maybe the accusations have merit, beginning to feel the weight of cognitive dissonance. December 2025 tests loyalty like never before, and not everyone passes that test. Some people who have been steadfast supporters for years find themselves wavering, find themselves asking hard questions, find themselves facing their own moment of truth. Mhoni emphasizes that prophecy is not about inevitability. She's often asked if what she sees is set in stone, and her answer is nuanced. She believes that certain things are fated, certain karmic debts must be paid, but she also believes in free will, in the power of choice. December 2025 brings Trump to a crossroads, and what happens next depends partly on decisions he makes. Does he fight until the bitter end? Does he accept responsibility for anything? Does he seek redemption? Or does he remain defiant until the last breath? These choices matter. They shape not just his fate, but how history remembers him. The psychological toll of December 2025 extends beyond Trump to everyone involved. Mhoni describes seeing stress affecting judges, lawyers, family members, political allies, opponents, even ordinary citizens who feel invested in the outcome. December becomes a month where collective anxiety peaks, where the mental health of a nation is tested, where people need to find ways to cope with uncertainty and fear. She recommends prayer, meditation, grounding practices, anything that helps people stay centered when the world feels like it's spinning out of control. And then there's the question of legacy. What will Trump be remembered for? Mhoni sees December 2025 as the month that cements that legacy, not the election victories, not the economic policies, not the appointments or the tweets or the rallies. December 2025 becomes the defining moment, the thing that textbooks will focus on, the thing that documentaries will build toward, the climax of the Trump era. And according to Mhoni, that legacy is complicated, not purely heroic, not purely villainous, but deeply, irrevocably human. A man who reached great heights and faced terrible falls. A cautionary tale and an inspiration depending on who's telling the story. Mhoni also speaks of supernatural occurrences around Trump during December. She's hesitant to go into detail, but she mentions feeling presences, entities, energies that are neither positive nor negative, but simply ancient, watching, waiting. She describes seeing shadow figures in her visions, things that exist between worlds. She wonders if Trump himself feels these presences, if he lies awake at night, aware that he's caught up in something bigger than politics, something that touches on fate and destiny and forces that have been at work since before any of us were born. The economic experts who listen to Mhoni's predictions are particularly concerned about December 2025. If what she sees comes to pass, the market instability could be severe. She describes seeing a domino effect, one institution faltering leading to others following, confidence evaporating, capital fleeing to safer havens, the global economy already fragile from previous shocks taking another hit it can barely afford, and all because of uncertainty surrounding one man. It shows how much power perception has, how much our economic systems depend on confidence and stability, and how quickly both can disappear. December 2025 also brings revelations about others. According to Mhoni, Trump isn't the only one facing exposure. She sees his situation opening doors to investigations of others, associates, former cabinet members, business partners. December becomes a month where dominoes fall in multiple directions, where one truth revealed leads to questions about other truths, where immunity deals are offered and accepted, where loyalty is tested and often found wanting. The web of connections and consequences spreads wider than anyone anticipated. Mhoni talks about the emotional journey Trump goes through in December. She sees anger, fierce, burning anger at his enemies, at the system, at fate itself. She sees denial, moments where he convinces himself this isn't really happening. She sees bargaining, attempts to make deals, to find ways out, to negotiate with forces that cannot be negotiated with. She sees depression, dark moments of despair when the weight becomes unbearable, and perhaps, toward the end of December, the beginning of acceptance, not surrender, but acknowledgement, the first small step toward coming to terms with a new reality. The role of women in Trump's December 2025 story is significant according to Mhoni. She sees powerful women influencing outcomes, female judges, female prosecutors, women making decisions that impact his fate. She also sees women in his personal life becoming more vocal, more assertive, the old power dynamics shifting. December 2025 in many ways is about feminine energy asserting itself in Trump's world, balance being restored, the yang meeting its yin, and Trump, who has always operated in very masculine energy, having to adapt to this shift or be overwhelmed by it. Now, what about after December? Mhoni is careful about looking too far ahead, but she gives hints. She sees January 2026 as a month of aftermath, of processing what happened in December, of the world adjusting to new realities. She sees Trump changed, quieter perhaps, more reflective, or possibly more angry, more determined to fight back. The exact trajectory depends on December's choices, but one thing is certain: the man who enters January 2026 is not the same man who entered December 2025. Transformation is complete, for better or worse. Mhon, I want people to understand something crucial. This isn't about celebrating someone's downfall. This isn't about political victory for one side. This is about justice, about karma, about the universe maintaining balance. She urges compassion even for those we oppose, understanding that everyone is human, everyone makes mistakes, everyone faces consequences. December 2025 is a reminder that no one is above the laws of cause and effect. That power is temporary. That legacy is what remains when the power fades. The spiritual teachers and philosophers who follow Mhoni's work find deep meaning in her December 2025 predictions. They see archetypal patterns, the hero's journey gone awry, the king in winter, the fall from grace that precedes redemption or ruin. They analyze her visions through the lens of ancient wisdom, and they find that the story of Trump in December 2025 is ultimately a timeless story, the story of hubris and nemesis, of reaching too high and falling too far, of the wheel of fortune turning as it always turns. Mhoni describes one final vision that haunts her. She sees Trump alone on December 31st, 2025, midnight approaching, the year ending, and she sees him standing at that window again, looking out at the city. But this time, there's something different in his posture, something resigned, something accepting. The fight isn't over, but something fundamental has shifted. He understands now what he didn't understand before, that some forces cannot be beaten, only endured, that some debts come due no matter how long you run. That December 2025 was always coming, written in the stars, inevitable. And what does this mean for you, for me, for all of us watching this unfold? Mhoni says we are witnesses to history. That December 2025 will be remembered, that our grandchildren will ask us what it was like, where we were, how we felt, and she urges us to pay attention, not just to the headlines, not just to the surface drama, but to the deeper patterns, the lessons about power and accountability, about truth and consequences, about the price we all pay for our choices. December 2025 is a mirror held up to America, and what we see reflected back will tell us who we really are. The message Mhoni wants to leave us with is one of awareness, of vigilance, of understanding that we are living through significant times. That December 2025 is a chapter in a larger story, and that story isn't finished yet. What happens in December sets the stage for what comes after, for 2026 and beyond, for the direction of a nation, for the shape of history. She asks us to approach December with open eyes and discerning minds, to seek truth, to question everything, to not simply accept what we're told but to dig deeper, to understand. She also asks for prayer, for meditation, for sending positive energy into December 2025, because while some things are fated, our collective consciousness matters. Our hopes and fears shape reality more than we know. If enough people wish for peace, for justice, for healing, it impacts outcomes. Mhoni truly believes this. She believes in the power of mass intention, and she's calling on everyone who hears her message to focus their intention on December 2025 being a month of truth and transformation rather than chaos and destruction. As we approach December 2025, as the days count down, Mhoni urges us to prepare ourselves emotionally and spiritually. This won't be an easy month. There will be shocking revelations, unexpected turns, moments that make us gasp, moments that make us weep. But there will also be clarity. Finally, after years of speculation and accusation, some clarity, finally, some truth. And whatever that truth is, we have to be strong enough to accept it, brave enough to face it, wise enough to learn from it. Donald Trump entered the political stage like a force of nature. Love him or hate him, everyone has an opinion. And according to Mhoni vidente, December 2025 is when that force meets an immovable object, when the narrative that began years ago reaches its critical point, when the questions get answered, when the mystery gets solved, when the prophecy fulfills itself. And we are all here to witness it, to be part of this moment, to remember December 2025 for the rest of our lives. So as this month approaches, as December 2025 draws near, remember what Mhoni has seen. Remember the warnings, remember the predictions. Watch carefully, pay attention, because history is happening, destiny is unfolding, and the fate of Donald Trump, interwoven with the fate of America, reaches its moment of truth. December 2025, the month that changes everything, the month that Mhoni vidente saw coming, the month that none of us will ever forget.